Hi everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with Spellbinders, and we are going to be creating a project featuring one of their holiday 3D embossing folders. Here I have the holiday floral swag. It's a beautiful print. Again, it's nice size. You can make a slim line, you can make a 5x7, you can even make your standard A2 size card, all just using this one embossing plate. And again, it is a 3D. Now, what I'm showing you first is they came out a little bit ago with their new platform system when it comes to their die cutting machines. Now, this system here, these plates and platforms only go with Spellbinders. That's what I'm going to say about these. If you use these in another system, you're doing that at your own risk. But this is a wonderful system. I've actually been using this for some time. You can see, got a plate here that's very well loved. These are the original plates. And again, they are still flat. They have not warped. Again, key is moving your dies around each time and flipping those plates. And that will give you the longevity of your plates. And again, that works for me. I'm sure somebody's going to come across and say, well, that doesn't work for me. Okay. All right. But I have, moved. I don't just stay in the center. Every time I die cut, I shift it. Before I die cut, I always push down in the center of my bottom plate. And if it wiggles at all, that plate gets flipped. And ran through, and then it just flattens itself out. I do the same thing with the top. If my top plate goes through and it starts bowing, that bow, if it's going this way, will go down. So it'll come up and down. Once I run that through my machine, it'll flatten itself out. You've just got to take notice of your plates and what they're doing so that you can keep them flat. Again, I find that works for me. I do use one plate for cutting and my top plate. So that's the system that I've worked. And my plates, I kid you not, my plates have lasted me 7 to 8 months. I'm a creator here, so I am die cutting a lot. I love die cutting. So 7 to 8 months is an awesome time frame. When I start getting my dies, they're not being as intricate with their cuts, they're not being as smooth. That tells me that both of my plates need to be switched out. I used to take my top plate and move it to the bottom and then get a second plate on top. I stopped doing that. When I replace one, I replace them both to get that even pressure going into the plates. Those are tips and tricks that I have found. Okay, so let's talk about this system. With this system, you get a total of 7 items. So let's start with the first one. All right, so I'm going to lay these out. You first get your platform base. Now, this is a different thickness than their original base that comes with the Platinum machines. All right, so this is different. Your platform base, on here, you will also see different sandwiches that you can create with this machine. All right. So here, if you want to just build a die cutting sandwich, it's telling you that you need A, which is your platform base. You're going to need B, your platform top. So this is like an adapter plate. You're then going to need a cutting plate, which is C, your cardstock, your die, and then another cutting plate on top. You will run this all through the system to do regular die cutting. Now, what's really nice with this plate and why I was really excited, I am a fan of the Platinum systems for a die cutting machine. They are manual machines. I just like the quality of it and have yet to have any problems with it. Now, I will say this, dropping it will break it. That's the only problem that I've had. Yes, just saying. But the plate is longer. So, you know, we're working with slimline dies and just longer borders as well. So this plate, this system will handle those. Here is the original platform from Spellbinders that comes with your Platinum 6. Sorry, I dropped that and shook the camera. So you can see the difference in the size. Okay, very much so, very different. I'm keeping the adapter plate here so you can see it is the same size when you put these together. Now, if I remove that adapter, that thickness does change. Okay, so again, it's a longer base than this. We don't have to cut half of it and then put it in on the other half and go the other way, because I could never master that. I would always mess that up. So I was really excited when this came out. What you can also do, it shows you how to emboss a cut shape. So Spellbinders dies are known, not only do they die cut, but there's also sometimes textures within the dies so you can create an emboss. This here will tell you what that sandwich will be. You'll have your A, your B, you're going to put your die facing up with your cardstock, and then you're going to grab E, which you have the embossing mat, and then D. This is their adapter plate. You will put that on top, no plates. Then you will run this sandwich through. So again, it'll continue to go on. It'll show you a standard embossing folder sandwich. It'll tell you a 3D embossing folder, and that's what we're going to be using today. So I'm going to make sure that I have my A. I don't need my B platform top, and all I need is the embossing paper or the embossing folder with my paper and the D. When it comes to the B, they will also show you again the die cutting sandwich and how to emboss. So you really want to take notice of this. They will walk you through how your sandwiches go using this system. Now again, I've been using this for some time and I have really enjoyed it. Their sandwiches are dead on. I haven't had to find myself fiddling around to try to figure anything out, which is great. Now I'm going to get these, since I'm not using these, I'm going to move them. Oh, and what they also come with is a shim. So this will replace the metal shim. Now you may need a metal shim, or what I would do by using this, I would add a layer of thick cardstock to that instead of a metal shim. When it comes to other items, you're sitting there probably thinking, well, I have a lot of the Stampers Anonymous or the Tim Holtz 3Ds, or I have Sizzix, or I have Stampin' Up, or I have all of these different types of items in my stash. What Spellbinders has done for their universal plate system, that's what this is called, is a compatibility guide. So let's say you use your Tim Holtz 3Ds. You would just come down, see Tim Holtz 3D. It is compatible with both the Platinum and the Platinum 6, and the recommended sandwich is a number 3. So you would look down here, and this is the thickness that you would need to run one of those Tim Holtz 3D. A cutting plate, your folder with paper, and just the platform base A. So they have listed here all of the Spellbinders, Fun Stamper's Journey, Sizzix 3D and 2D, your Tim Holtz, Stampin' Up, both the new and the old version. They also have listed Creative Expressions, the Alta New 3D, and Nellie's Choice 3D. And again, this is free to download from their website, and I will make sure that it is linked down below for you. So I just printed mine out and I just keep it by me because, again, we do have other embossing folders and so forth. When it comes to dies, okay, you're just using the original sandwich when it comes to the platinum. Always remember, when you're using a die cutting machine, especially a manual one, if the system is stopping you from rolling that through, do not force it. Do not force that item through. You will do damage to the system. You want to make sure that when you have, let's just say that's my base, here are my plates. Do not have your die close to this edge or your embossing folder close to this edge. That will not allow it to go through the system. The machine will stop. And again, we try to force it. These are things that I used to do. And we can just do damage and it'll offset it. Make sure your dies are back away from the edge of your cutting plates. Make sure your folder's away, and that's what's great with this system as well. You can do that. Let's say this is a regular embossing folder. You can see I'm not coming right up to this edge. When you use your embossing folders, you always want to put the folded edge, the hinge, through the machine first. You don't want to have the opening going through the machine first. You can see this is beveled. This is not. Okay, we want those bevels to go through. So again, when you feel resistance, you want to stop. Now, why did I say especially for manual machines? Because when it comes to our electronic devices, our electronic die cutting machines, whether it's the Gemini, the Switch Plus, which I have been using that as well due to my arm, loving it. They have a mechanism that if you've created the wrong sandwich or if it's too thick, it'll stop. It'll actually reject it and push it back out to you. So again, manual, you don't want to force it to go through. All right. So this is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to set these aside. This is a really, really nice system. I know Spellbinders has a video out when it comes to the system. Other makers have created videos on this as well. So I encourage you to check them out if you were curious about this. All right. Okay. So let's now get to our projects. So I'm going to switch over to a voiceover and enjoy. I'll talk to you on the other side. Right to our card. I have a piece of red cardstock here that I'm going to lightly mist. This piece of cardstock is cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. We are going to be making a 5 by 7 card. I'm playing with the placement of my cardstock inside the embossing folder so that I can get the image that I'm looking for. I'm following what I need for the platform system for my Spellbinders 6, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. You can see we have absolutely gorgeous results. I am so glad embossing folders are coming back. The 3Ds just take it to the next level. I've pulled out my foundry wax in Gilded. This is the first time that I'm going to be using this product. So we're just going to have some fun and playing with it. With my finger, I'm just tapping on the raised areas of this panel. You want to move quickly when it comes to the foundry wax. I watched others use this and they said that, and I didn't listen. You really do need to move quickly. It dries very fast. But with my finger, I felt I had the best results to control it. I only wanted it to be on the raised areas. It's okay if I got it on the flatter areas. This will really start to shine once we add heat to this panel, because that's what you want to do. So I'm going to take the little tiny swatch that I have down here and just heat it up, and you can see just what that does. So I'm going to bring my heat gun to my panel. And just in certain areas, I have it a little bit thicker, and that's the look that I was looking for. Where it's thinner, it just gives that gilded gold look, which I thought is perfect. For my sentiment, I'm going to be using a sentiment from a collection that I showed earlier. It's the Simon Hurley Joyful Christmas Collection, and these sentiments are the Joyful Christmas Glimmer Hot Foil Plate and Die Set. It's one of those sets where you foil all of them at once, and then the die cuts them all at once. So I have this great little pot filled with them, which is awesome. I die cut the outer shape multiple times to get almost a chipboard effect, and then I used the gilded wax around that as well and heat set that. I'm going to be grabbing a piece of gold mirror cardstock, and I'm going to cut that down to 5 by 7. This is going to fill the whole panel, or the whole front of my 5 by 7 card base. I'm going to cut out the center. I've really gotten used to this now, which is awesome because I do hoard my mirror and my specialty paper. So that's mirror, textured, pearlescent, glitter. I just love these papers, especially as we get closer into the holidays and the cards that we make. I'm going to add some double-sided tape. I'm going to remove the release paper, and I'm going to set my panel down. I'm going to add some more double-sided tape. This time I'm going to pull in the big guns, and this is my 2-inch wide double-sided film tape by Uline. This is a wonderful tape. When I use this, when I watercolor, if I heat emboss, if my cardstock has warped in any way, this flattens it out onto my card base. This is an extremely strong tape. I get asked this question a lot. It's a wonderful tape. It lasts forever, but it is not forgiving. If you set it down wrong, that's how she will sit. I'm going to glue my sentiment, but first I want to create a bow, and for those of you that have been here before, you know that's just not a fun thing for me. I end up making a bow. I was thinking, okay, well, let's turn this, let's put this on the back. It just, no. It just didn't look right, and it wasn't going to stay. So you saw my frustration there. So back to the bow. Me and bow making just do not get along. But I'm getting better at it. I keep practicing. I'm going to set this down into the same spot, and then I'm going to set the sentiment down as well. I'm actually going to add some double-sided foam squares and then place that over the bow, the bottom part of the bow. And because I'm doing that over the twine, I did add some liquid adhesive to those as well. That is our card today. So I hope I gave you a few tips and tricks. First time for me working with the gilded wax. Also, I showed you the platform system and how that truly functions when it comes to the Spellbinders machine. It is a wonderful system. Takes all the guessing out, and they even provide on their website other companies when it comes to the embossing folders as well, and the sandwiches that they recommend for those items. All the products that I used will be listed down below in the video description, and if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos. Enjoy this process. Have fun creating your cards and your art with the perfect medium, paper. Enjoy. But always remember what's most important. Always be creative, guys. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then.